We were talking to Monte Cuddy just now about halftime Saturday, and he was saying that Peter Woods got up and kind of gave an impassioned speech. What's it like to see someone like him, you know, get up and talk to the team and kind of take on that mantle of leadership?
It's really awesome. It's really cool to see how he's grown over the last 3 years. You know, I feel like for me that's a role that it's a tough spot to be in. You know, nobody wants to lead, especially in a situation like that. It's easy to lead when everything's going well, but to see him step up, and you know, I was in there and heard it all, and I feel like we've had some really, really great leaders over the years, but to see him really step in that role and take control of the moment was awesome. And his words were impactful, and was great to hear, man. And but it was awesome, and it was really good to hear. And you know, obviously helped our team a lot, and came out hot in the second half. And I think because of that was really helpful.
Cuddy described it as passionate.
Yeah, I would say so as well. Yeah, energetic and passionate for sure.
Was it just to the defense or to the
No,
offense or both?
It was everybody. Just kind of as soon as we came back in from the first half, really as soon as we came in, just kind of got everybody together and just, you know, spoke to us and spoke from the heart, and just kind of was a reset, honestly. Just kind of a reset. It was a wild first half, you know, and a little bit of a reset, and just, all right, here we go. And it was good. I feel like halftime was good for us. Just kind of felt like a little bit of normalcy, if that's a word. Just kind of a reset into going to the second half and go kick butt. So,
do you think people realize that you're coming off an emotional loss? You come out, you get warm, you have one series, and then you go back in. But sometimes people don't understand that in this game, which is so much mental, that's hard to do.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, you want to be in the right, you know, you try to time up the day and get yourself in the right, you know, mindset when you're about to step on the field, right? And you can't like just like hold that energy and like that enthusiasm and like that focus and like kind of mindset for 7 hours before you even play the game, right? So like for me, I'm not really trying to get super amped up. You know, if we're playing a night game, I'm not going to try to be super amped up and ready to go play at noon. I'm trying to, you know, kind of get ready right before the game and try to really get my mind focused and everything. Obviously, I'm preparing throughout the whole day, but whenever you kind of have that weird, you know, hour and a half. How long did the break end up being? I have no idea. About hour and a half. Like it was weird. You know, it was just I'd never experienced anything like it. You know, we kind of came back in, and I looked at Trent Pierman and I was like, well, we were due for one of these. You know, it's our 4th year and we haven't had one of these yet. So I guess everybody's got to have one during their career. And so I was kind of just like, yeah, we were kind of due for one of these. But it was just wild to like, I didn't really know how to handle the situation, you know, because you were told 30 minutes. So then I'm like, all right, stay focused for 30 minutes, you know, go over the game plan again, everything. And then they're like, it's going to be about another 45. And you're like, okay, do I just kind of like, you know, chill for a little bit? And so I ended up just taking off my pads, you know, took off my cleats, just getting some treatment and stuff and kind of disconnect. And then they gave us kind of a 15-minute warning. And then you kind of got to lock back in and go again. So, you know, I feel like we handled it fairly well, but it definitely is a little weird. And then we just didn't have some things go our way in the first half. And then it's kind of just, like I said at the very start, halftime came around, just kind of like a reset. All right, a little bit of normal routine back. Here we go, and let's go. So
I mentioned this to Coach Sweeney, I guess, Sunday. It looked like the offense was just crisp.
Yeah.
From play one.
Yeah, just doing what we do, man. It just, you know, we weren't doing too much. I think in the first half it was kind of 10 guys working at a time, and just kind of, you know, one guy not doing his job. And we got to have all 11 guys doing our job at a really high rate, and that's what we did in the second half really, really well. And we were really efficient on first and second down, which helped a ton. And it was awesome to see that, and hopefully going to continue to carry that on this week and the weeks ahead.
As Coach Sweeney was saying that, in practice it's very different that you guys are making plays, those mistakes aren't happening. So, I mean, how do you translate, kind of carry that over to the game?
Just trust it, just trust our preparation. Got to go make up anything. I feel like sometimes just had a couple guys just kind of make up something and just, get out of our routine fundamentals and just got to go do what we do. Don't overcomplicate it. What's my job, period. That's it. And that's something that I had to remind myself a lot of in week 2. Where do my eyes really need to be? What's my job and everything? And I feel like I made a big step, and hopefully we'll continue to do so moving forward. So.
Where do you feel like you made the biggest stride in week 2, and what are some of the things you feel like you still have?
Being decisive, just having my eyes in the right place, being decisive. I still had 2 plays I wish I could have back with pocket presence, but, I think just getting the right foot in the ground and triggering the ball, just being decisive. And the word I love, just kind of going back and watching it, was just being convicted by what I'm doing. Not overthinking, just be convicted by what I see and triggering it. And I feel like that's what I do really well, and just got to go do that in the game.
What were the 2 plays that you want?
I kind of just threw one on the run to TJ, the vertical. I didn't really need to. And then what was the other one? Going blank right now. But there's one other one that started out to the right and then reset to Gideon. It was PI, and I could have just quick reset. I mean, like I do every day 1,000 times, and I just kind of got into a little scramble and threw it on the run, which just didn't need to do. Like I said, not like it was a bad play, but just could have been more efficient and gotten, didn't need to move. So.
Is there anything that you guys as an entire offense are kind of working on this week in practice based off of some of the ways that you guys kind of struggled last week?
Some run game stuff, just timing up, just kind of timing up some of our run games, just a little bit off right now. I mean, we ran the ball really well, but there's still a lot, that we need to be better at. So some stuff there, which is exciting. I remember, I feel like one of the most exciting things ever is, you go and play a great game and you go watch the film, and there's so much better that you can get better at. There's so much more that you can get better at. And I think that just talking to Adam, like, that's how he viewed it, was like, hey, man, I ran for 120-something yards, and there's still so much I can get better at. Like, how exciting is that, for him and that offensive line? So that's just, that's really fun. I feel like that's one of the big things for us for sure, yeah.
Because Georgia Tech is in the habit of selling home games, your first trip to Bobby Dodd Stadium, are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I am. I've never been down there. I've heard it's an awesome place. I've heard, it's kind of downtown. You get a view of, kind of the skyline whenever you're in there. Kind of reminds me of a stadium that I used to play at high school. Obviously not comparing the two, but House Park in Austin was a place we used to play. It was downtown Austin. You're kind of on the field, and you got all the skyline. So it'll be cool. Kind of similar to Charlotte as well. So I'm excited to go. I've heard they got a great atmosphere, and they've got a great team and great offense, great quarterback. Haynes he's a baller. So excited to go down there and play. Yeah.
What have you seen from their defense, kind of watching the film?
Yeah, I mean, they've got they got talent all over. They've got great defensive line. DBs that I've played a lot of ball and know the game really well. Very instinctual. They've got a couple of good disguises that we're gonna have to get ready for. I mean, they're kind of a bend, kind of don't break kind of team. They don't really want to let up a ton of big plays. A little bit more conservative there, so their DC was at Texas last year as their safeties coach. So watching obviously some of that game from last year and some of the stuff that they did, it's not exactly the same, but definitely some similarities, especially just in some of the disguises and stuff that they get to. So it's good tape to buzz through, but it's definitely a little bit different. But, they've got a great coaching staff and stuff there. So.
They take on the mentality of their coach. It's a physical football team. They're going to come out, white out, all white uniforms. They're going to come out and try and be physical from the get-go. Do you embrace those kinds of challenges where we're the target? Their head coach even said, target this week, this is the mission, where you're the target number one?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I wouldn't want any other way. I think that's why I came to Clemson for sure, is to have that. So I love it, and they're a respected program, and I'm excited. I love road games. I'm excited to go have our first road game and go into somebody else's territory. So it'll be awesome. I've heard that their atmosphere is great, and definitely excited to head out there. Yeah.
Anybody else for Cade?
Coach Sweeney kind of mentioned, I guess in the Troy game, that you were too much of a factor with your legs. I guess how do you kind of stay settled in the pocket rather than, I guess, a tendency just to leave the pocket too early and sometimes?
You said what? I'm sorry. What was the first one you said?
Coach Sweeney said you kind of you were too much of a factor with your legs against Troy. So I guess leaving the pocket sooner than I guess you guys would.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was a problem in week one, just it being a week one game and not being hit in a while. So I feel like we watched the tape and feel like I've definitely made a lot of good strides. There's 2 plays that I wish I could have back, but feel like I've definitely hung in there when I needed to this past game, and we'll continue to get better at it. So.
Can you clarify that those comments weren't inclusive of the LSU game?
I got you. Yeah, perfect.
My mistake.
No, you good.
I guess on the touchdown to Bryant down the left side to go up 17-16 last Saturday. You guys obviously started the third quarter running the ball, emphasizing that. What do you think that did on the play fake there that kind of made the safety bite?
Yeah, we had kind of showed that play a few times. We bring Bryant in motion, and just something that they'd probably seen about 3 times already. So we had a play action off it. We actually ran the same play last year versus Virginia with TJ on the right side. And we had kind of seen on film sometimes those boundary safeties will trigger, and just knew the time was right. And it was a great play call, great execution. Bryant sold it really, really well. And all I had to do was just kind of sell it for a little bit, get the guy triggered, and deliver. But it was a great game plan by our coaches. So just had to go execute. Yeah, it was awesome.
I think it's going back to your legs. Obviously, you want to not bail too soon, but obviously you're really good last year running opportunistically to kind of pick up 6, 7, 8 yards. Have those opportunities just not been there yet, or is that something you want to be able to get more of?
I think that there's been more opportunities to throw the ball than for me to scramble and make something happen with my legs so far that I've missed, than more throwing opportunities that I've missed than running opportunities that I've missed. So me being able to sit in there and deliver the ball is something that I'll continue to get better at, and just wasn't good at week one. I feel like I was really good at it last year and just wasn't very good at it in week one, and just kind of what it was. And I don't blame my whole play on that. I don't think that was the whole reason that the game ended up how it was, but it was definitely something that I need to get better at, and did get better at last week, and I was proud of that, and sitting in there and delivering some strikes downfield and sitting in there. So just keep getting better at it. I don't do that in practice, and yeah. I mean, in terms of running the ball, those kind of plays just happen. I think about the long scramble last year versus Stanford, and stuff like that. Stuff just kind of happens. You don't really plan for that and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I think sometimes we make too much of one play, but let's go over that last touchdown to Wesco. The blitz comes, it comes up the middle. You don't flush out of the pocket. I guess he's running a 6 or a vert or something like that, right? You hang in there, and then you just throw a strike to him, probably the best throw you've made all year. What does that do for your confidence? And can you kind of walk me through that, what you're seeing there?
Yeah. So, we had been hoping to get in a 3rd and short scenario. Coach Riley definitely had for sure. We were hoping to call that thing. But yeah, we knew if we got the look where they're just zero, safeties all 8 yards under, then we're going to call it. And if they had somebody deep or too high deep, we're just going to check it. And, we got the look, and it's pretty much 8-man protection, full on 8-man protection. And we got 2 routes. We got Brian on a skinny post and TJ on a cross. And, I'm just having to sell that thing as good as I can, get those safeties pulled down, and Bryant's one-on-one with the corner. And I just had to buy time enough, and I knew there was going to be a guy in my face, and you just kind of had to let it fly. But, man, that play was awesome. I feel like, that just showed who we are and who we can be and who the type of player that I am. And, that play was definitely big for me. Yeah, it was awesome. Fired me up for sure.
How have you kind of seen Wesco's confidence kind of grow these past 2 weeks without Antonio in the lineup?
Man, he's still got so much there, and there's still so much. There's just so much. I could be getting the ball to him so much more. I mean, I think about 2 or 3 times in this last game where I could have just reset and got it to him, and we still got to a good play. But he's really, really good, man. And he's fast, but his routes are, really, really good. And he knows the game. He knows it really well. He sees what I see, and it's really fun to have him out there. It's really fun, and he's just growing a lot, and just really proud of him. And TJ's had a really good week. Just really proud of, he didn't have a bad week, but he just, he's TJ Moore, man. He's going to go do great things, and I'm excited to see him. He's had a really great week this week, and Tyler's obviously been, doing Tyler, so he's going to continue to get better, and we're going to use him a lot. So.
You said you were going to make fun of Ronan for the next 3.5 years. I guess, did you wake up and remind him about the drop interception?
Yeah, well, I saw him Sunday, and I was doing like my recovery run and lift, and I saw him in the weight room and told him to go hop in the jugs machine. So it already started the next day. Told him he needs to go get some catches. So if he heads home early today, I'll give him a hard time about it again. I appreciate you reminding me.
Anybody else for Cade?
As the leader of the offense, what's your plan to keep the team ahead of schedule against a physical defense like Georgia Tech brings?
Yeah, I think just start off how we left the last game. Start off fast, be efficient on first and second downs, not getting behind the chains. When it comes to football, man, the only thing that we're in control of is what we can control. And we can't control the refs. We can't control what the other defense is going to do. We can control what we can control, and that's doing what we're supposed to do, executing what we do really well. No penalties, hanging on the football, and making the plays when they're there. And that's what we need to go do really, really well. Is just focus on the job and the task at hand. And, when we do that, man, it's really fun. And I think that you saw that a lot last year. You saw it in the second half of this past game. And so that's what we need to go do and just go execute. So.
Kyle Efford at linebacker, he made some comments in the preseason about how he wants to pack out Bobby Dodd, take Clemson down, kind of had that game circled. How do you respond to that?
It's exciting for them. It'll be great. We're excited to go on the road and take on a great team. So.
All right. Thank you, Cade.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.